Hi guys, and welcome to SEO Tales, episode number 16. And today, myself and Itamar Blauer, I don't even know why we keep introducing each other. It's actually madness.
This will be the last time.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about email marketing today and some tips to get you started with a good email marketing campaign. We hear a lot of people say email marketing is dead, or they can't be bothered doing it, or it's too much hard work, or it's too spammy. Does it really work? What do you think, Itamar?
Yeah, I think you hear that a lot because, the word email, I think a lot of people think it's kind of an old term, kind of like a dated terminology, right? They think, who needs emails anymore when we've got social media, we've got WhatsApp. But I think what people fail to kind of remember is that, emails, everyone still has an email, right? It's not like just because people are using social media, just because people are using things like WhatsApp, Telegram, and whatever, it doesn't mean that people aren't using emails anymore. Email marketing is still a very important thing that if you can master it and be able to build up a strong email list of people who kind of care about your content, then you're going to be winning in whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to sell, whatever things you're trying to market. Having a strong email marketing strategy and email lists are going to be very beneficial for you.
Yeah, I think I was also one of those guys who in the past thought email marketing's dead. No one does this anymore. And I'm talking about 5-6 years ago, I was saying things like that, and thought I just don't want to get in people's faces with content. But the more I've done it, the more benefits it had, and it's still something I use every day as part of. I think I said it in a previous episode. To drive engagement to videos, to drive engagement to pages, to driving, just general, you do social media, as you say, and very quickly that stuff's dropped out the feed. So you've got 45, well, not 45 seconds, but, it can be depending on when you post stuff on social media before it's gone. You've maybe got a few minutes to capture people's attention, then it's gone, forgotten about. And I think, emails obviously land in inboxes and people have got the opportunity to read them and deal with them and stuff like that. So I think it's still part of an overall process that people should be doing. But, people think it's too complex, too much work, and I'll start to go through some of the stuff we want to go through today. And the first one being is how the hell, with GDPR and everything else, how do you get people subscribed up to your list? What kind of things are you doing to try and build your list?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I do, obviously, it's an important thing to understand now that with GDPR and all these things, you can't just get people onto your list as quickly or as easily as you could have in the past. But the whole important thing is, I think, about getting people to subscribe to a list is if they first understand you, they know you, and they know the value that you can bring to them. So no one is going to be subscribing to your email list if they don't feel like there's something that they're going to gain from it. Because the last thing somebody wants is to be subscribed to an email list that's just either not going to be relevant or not going to be helpful to them, or they feel like it's a waste of time. They feel like their inbox is going to be spammed with content that they're not going to read, they're not going to engage with, and so on. So, if you want to get people subscribed, you first need to have built up some kind of rapport with them. So if they've been exposed to your content through your website or through social media or through YouTube, then, you can get people's interest to start building from these initial interactions with you. And then basically telling them that, you're going to subscribe to this list and you're going to get something valuable. That's something that's going to be helping you to improve your processes or improve your journey in your careers, things that are going to be very beneficial to you. So, there's multiple different ways to do that. So one of the ways that I do it is I do it on my website, on my blog page. So at the top, I've got just a very easy thing that people can subscribe to, because all they need to do is just put their email in and then opt in to that. But it's all really down to how you phrase these things. So you need to be phrasing, like, it's not just like sign up to my email list and that's it, right? Because no one's going to subscribe to that. You need to tell them exactly what it is that they're going to get out of it. So that's one of the things that I do. So I've got that for the blog page, but I also have like a small form on my blog post. Every blog post I have, I've got it on the right sidebar, so people can decide to opt in through there. And I think, why do I do that on blog posts? I feel like if you're creating good content that people enjoy, and they don't want to miss out on new content, then they can sign up there and then. So as they're kind of getting exposed to and they're consuming the content that you've got, if they like it, then there'll be a higher chance that they might want to come back for more, or that they kind of see the value in the content you're writing and thinking, well, this person knows their stuff. I want to be more involved and find out more about what they have to say. So that's what I would do. What would you say you do, Craig, in terms of getting more people to subscribe to your email list?
I mean, over and above the stuff that you said, I think one, you've got to make it prominent on your blog, on your pages, make sure there's a call to action for that, just generically. Two, I think sometimes you've got a problem, though, with just doing that. I think sometimes you need to force people's hands, because why? They might like you, sometimes they just can't be asked signing up or whatever. So what I feel works quite effectively, if indeed you are selling a kind of product as such, you've got to kind of spin the wheel sign-ups, where people have got to put their email in and then spin a wheel, and they might get nothing. They might get a 5% coupon code, a 10% coupon code, or something else. And I think adding that little bit of fun, because who doesn't like spinning a wheel? It's just a gimmick, and if you Google something like spin the wheel email sign-ups, these work really, really well. And it's better than sign up to my email list here, boring, bland bullshit, if you like. And I include that in myself. Why would someone want to hear more of this Scottish twat's voice? So if they think they're getting a discount, they're more inclined to spin that wheel. Also, I think, giving stuff away, like I gave away a free course a few months ago and got an outrageous amount of people signing up for that. And as a result, I'm able to then market, 40,000 new people, because that's the amount of people that signed up for my free course. So, luring them in, so to speak, with a free course or a free giveaway or whatever it's going to be, is something. People love free stuff. And you've got to, not just free information, because you're already doing that, but sometimes people want a thing, a product, something, a t-shirt. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but sometimes I think you have to twist their arm slightly. Especially if you want to kind of do this stuff at scale, you've got to look at ways to quickly get from 0 to 1,000 subscribers. And that is, it's just a couple of little tips there. But you've also got, Optin Monster has a lot of good forms out there. And it's relatively cheap, and you can get these people to sign up when they're exiting your website and all that kind of stuff as well. So it depends on when you're sending that pop-up as well, because people may be deliberating on maybe signing up for something, whether it's a paid course or whatever, and they're like, I don't know if I want to pay that price, and then they leave the page. And if you can maybe capture their email, then you could maybe do a soft follow-up, saying 10% off, I noticed you left the page or whatever. But things like that, I think, are just other little steps that you can take. By all means, what you said, instantly get them, on the right-hand side of your blog and all that kind of stuff, and or up or below your blog posts or whatever, are great calls to action. But I think at times those don't always work, unless you're dropping outrageous knowledge bombs. You're not going to get any sheer volume from that. I think the arm twisting thing now has to, I just see it as part of the strategy now, and that's just the way it goes. Mm-hmm. But there's many other ways. Just be creative with it. Just give people a reason to sign up, as you say, whether it's giving good information or not. You've got to give them something, or you're going to be left with a very low reach with your email marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. But that moves on, because you did drop like a few names of different kind of tools or different ways to kind of get started with that. So obviously, what would you say in terms of the kind of platforms that people are using for their email marketing campaigns? Obviously, MailChimp is probably the most popular one that people use, but do you use that? Are there any other platforms that are really good that maybe people don't know much about, or what do you think?
I think MailChimp is a great tool, and it's something I used to use back in the day. And you obviously get up to 2,000 subscribers free of charge, which is a great introductory offer and gets you on the platform. And then obviously your cost scales up depending on how many users you've got. Since then, I've moved on to Aweber, and I've also left them. I'm on to another platform called Active Campaign. Now, why did I go to Aweber and then why did I move on to Active Campaign? So obviously, when your email marketing list grows, your cost rises. So you're looking at cost, email deliverability, and all of that kind of stuff. And I think sometimes you've got to spend to make sure that you are using the best possible platform. But the reason I finally ended up in Active Campaign is, they're a great platform. They are the most cost effective for the volume of emails that I send out, but they also have that automated stuff built in. And I know MailChimp and Aweber do to a certain degree as well. But what I really like about Active Campaign is just the amount of automation they've got on there. Now, you can, do any kind of automated sequence you want, but one thing that I think is really, really important and something I just want to highlight here is when you're growing an email marketing list, your costs obviously spiral. Now, the best way to kind of manage that cost is to make sure that you don't have a big ego and send mail, or want to tell people, yeah, I've got a 200,000 email marketing list, and you send that out and only 15,000 people open it, and 185,000 people are never opening it. So part of my automation is, if someone on my mailing list doesn't open anything I send for 30 days, they're automatically opted out and wiped off the system, because I do not want to be paying any more than I have to send an email marketing list out. Now, I don't mind sending it out, and I don't mind spiraling costs if that engagement's there. But if you look at your email marketing list, and it's a mistake I made before, I had the ego saying, I've got this list, I've got that list, and and before you know it, people are just not opening your emails. But they don't unsubscribe from your list. They're too lazy to do that as well. So make sure you clean that list and thoroughly clean it, because I'd rather pay, the 50,000 email subscriber list if it's 50,000 active subscribers that you've got, and those people are all opening it. So just a little trick there. But, as I say, that's one little bit of automation I do. But within Active Campaign, you can put people into other lists, or, even if someone takes an action like watches a video, I can basically add them to a list that I would call video watchers or whatever, and send all of the videos to those people who are more inclined to watch videos and so on. So, creating segmented lists within your campaign is something I would also strongly advise, because you can, segment that stuff up, and I think that's really important, to be able to hit certain lists, certain elements of your list with certain campaigns, because not everyone just wants to watch a webinar. Not everyone wants to, but if I can segment that and fully understand that, 20% of my list love the webinars or the podcasts, then I'm only going to send it to that 20%. There's no point in sending it to the rest and rubbing them up the wrong way. So I think managing, segmenting your list, automating a lot of that stuff, and also don't allow your cost to spiral out because your ego's that big that you don't want to delete some of those scumbags who sign up and never engage with you. But so that's the kind of platforms I'm using. I went on a bit of a rant with that one. But what platform are you using? Because I know you're at the start of your business career, and obviously I've been there and went through the wheels. But where are you starting out? What one are you playing with?
Yeah, so I'm playing with MailChimp, like I mentioned previously. I think it is quite generous having like the 2,000 free subscribers, right off the bat without paying anything. So for me, that's quite attractive to start off with. I think, as you mentioned, it's just all about how you scale it up, but it's also being smart with your email marketing systems, because like you say, there's no point of me sending the same type of email to everyone on the list, just because people's habits of consumption and consuming the different marketing information, things like that, are all going to be different. So, the kind of automation and the systems that you're talking about make a lot of sense, because, there's no point sending the same kind of webinar type email content to 100% of your list if only 20% are going to actually be engaging with them, opening them, and actually caring about that content. So I think what you're mentioning there about segmenting your list to be very specific in terms of the kind of data that on the information that you're releasing is really important to know. But obviously that kind of functionality, I suppose to some regard, I may not be able to do in MailChimp, but obviously my email list isn't big enough to the point where I've needed to do that. But still, I think it's the power you get from this data to kind of figure out how to really optimize your email marketing strategies. But I suppose that kind of moves on to kind of like the last bit I want to talk about, which is about CTR and how you improve CTR in your emails. Obviously, you've mentioned about segmenting the lists and having that system where the types of content to send out to people. But let's say you're starting off and you haven't gotten to that point where you're segmenting it. You've just got one list. So what would you say is the other kind of key steps to optimize and improve your CTR from those emails?
I mean, one thing I would say to people is do not over email people. 1 or 2 times a week is enough. I think if you were to do any more than that, you're going to start to irritate the life out of people again. But in terms of CTR and optimizing, I think doing it not as frequent as some. I see some guys that are doing it daily, and it just becomes a turn off. But I think common sense. Add nice visuals in there. People don't want to read a big long list. Add a video, add a nice infographic, and obviously within these tools, there's no reason why you can't add a big call to action button, on there as well. Because it's drag and drop builders basically you're dealing with. So I think it's very, very simple. Keep it clean, tidy, to the point. Don't waffle. Add the visual element, and ensure that you've got a nice big button on there that works. Something I've also, again, I'm going to tell you a mistake that I keep doing, and I keep rushing to do my email marketing because it's always the last thing in my to-do list, and I always fuck up the link on it. And I've done that several times in the past few weeks where people are like, Craig, we've sent out an email marketing campaign to a Push Engage webinar. Why has it got a SEMrush link on it? So just be careful, double check, do not just slam them out, because sometimes you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And if you have just got that person signed up and you're sending broken links or the wrong links, and listen, we can all do it, we can all get sloppy, and I'm that sloppy guy where someone like Anton will be like, Craig, can you send an email out for that webinar you're on? You're fucking, you're on a phone call, you're recording and you're rushing about. Take time and do it properly, because you send a broken link out or no link at all, that unsubscribe percentage goes through the list, goes through the roof. So just be careful in terms of rushing around doing it. Do not see it as a secondary thing to do, because people will, and they'll be rude to you as well. They'll ping you an email saying, listen, you daft. I've had it all. I sent out a, a link, a mail to people saying, listen, hey guys, got a free link building playlist on my YouTube, and the fucking link was broke. And people are like, that's a bit ironic, that link building, you can't even get the link right and all that, and it's bloody frustrating. So yeah, just be careful with that. But I don't think there's any great tips for CTR as such. I think just sending it out, good information, less, don't be frequent with it. Once or twice a week is enough, just to not noise people up with it, and just clear, simple call to actions. You don't have to send chapter and verse on a mail list. If you've got a course, you've got a video, send that and nothing more. They don't want to hear your crap chit chat or your crap jokes. Simple and to the point. What you finding's working with yours, Itamar?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned also, I want to include videos in a lot of the emails I send out. So like I will do just separate recordings of things that I will just include in an email. So like if somebody signs up to my email list, they'll get an email with a tailored video that I made, kind of like just giving people more information, just so that they kind of get to know me, so that they see my face more, kind of get an idea in terms of more of what I do, because they might have only landed on my page just to a blog post directly from, somebody might have shared it on social media, so they might not know who I am, right? But if they decide to sign up, you've got to, kind of have it as like an introduction, so people kind of get to know you, get to see your face, get to see what you're all about. And then from that, they might even choose to unsubscribe if they feel like it's not a good fit. But for me, even if they choose to do that, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, you want to keep people in your email list that are actually going to be engaging and will actually care about the content that you're sending out, right? So, if somebody might feel like, okay, this guy, maybe it's not for me, maybe I want to focus more on paid advertisements, that side of things, so maybe that's not going to be too relevant, then they might unsubscribe, and I'll say, okay, cool, that's great. So I think, being very personable, sending like a tailored video introduction, thanking people, explaining kind of what's going on in terms of them being subscribed to this email list. But I suppose that's what I do. I think that the thing I want to kind of close on, which might be just a bit entertaining, because I know, Craig, you get a lot of responses from your email campaign. So do you want to share something that just sticks out to you, like a response that you've received, whether it was like really positive, really negative, really funny? Because I know you've had loads. So I think it'll just be a nice thing to kind of end on.
I've basically been told to fuck off by people, but to be fair, I think the majority of people are fairly nice, but the ones that do spring to mind are people can get frustrated and literally just say, go to you, fuck off, I'm sick of seeing your face. And, the general public out there are volatile at best. And the reason I'm going to talk about the negative, and obviously where people, maybe slam you for making a mistake or whatever, is try not let it get to you. Just keep going. The oddballs of this world always have something to say, typically from a fake email address or a fake Twitter account or a fake Facebook account. They would never say it in their own name. And just don't let it get you down. Don't let it get to you. You do get it. And do not let it put you off email marketing, because I think you'll find that a high percentage of the people that you do feed your good information to do appreciate what you send, and there's a lot more positivity out there than not. Obviously, what you're referring to, Tamara, is sometimes I show people on Facebook just a bit of negativity of what goes on, and why do I do that? Sometimes it just lets off a bit of steam when I've share it with the world, saying, look at this fucking asshole, and whatever. Sometimes it's just to name and shame them. And also just to show people the shite you have to put up with in this industry as well, because I think everyone thinks it's all, pound signs and luxury lifestyles or whatever, but there is an element to this business where you do get, idiots out there, giving you abuse for trying to do your job or trying to market yourself. And as I say, never ever let that get you put you off or get you down. Just go with the flow and continue doing it, because some of these people can be really volatile and say some horrible things, but to hell with them. That's what I say. So
to hell with them. That's what a way to end it. Haters are gonna hate. But I think on that note, we've pretty much covered a lot of things today in this episode. So obviously, I want to thank you guys for watching this video on behalf of myself and Craig. If you liked the video, leave a like rating below and comment down below. What tools or what are you using for your email marketing? Maybe use something we haven't mentioned, and leave obviously your thoughts below. But on behalf of Craig and myself, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you in next week's episode.